Yeah, here we go.
We're here.
Yes. So, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just so excited I can't handle it. Yeah, Mars.
Everybody, there was a tweet that everybody was chanting across the entire interwebs about Countdown to Mars. Hashtag.
Everybody. Well, my friends, welcome for anybody who happens to see this. Welcome to a very special edition of Week's End here on a Thursday. Why are we meeting on a Thursday? Because, oh my God, history is about to be made, and NASA Perseverance rover is getting ready to land on Mars, which is really, really exciting. I am joined, as always, by my co-host Ryan and by our incredibly talented space history expert Max Campbell. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Yay!
Welcome and hello.
I don't even
Greetings and salutations.
I'm just glad everybody got the memo to wear red.
Oh yeah,
we did. I put the cape on just for you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Nice. Oh, look at that. That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
This is a shirt from an event I helped with in college. It was for called Purdue Space Day, and it was great. And it's for like kids and stuff. But I was like one of the group leaders, and they assign spacecraft to each group. So you're not like group 2. You're the some people were Curiosity, and the group that I was a part of was the Mars Express,
nice.
the European Space Agency's orbiter. So it was really cool, and so it was red for that year. I don't know if you can see the logo. It's Curiosity. And,
oh, dude, that is so cool.
Yeah, so
that is so cool.
Pull this one out for today.
I love it.
That is very
Ryan, you've got your Mars hat on. I was there the day you got that at Kennedy Space Center. I think is it signed by Al Warden? Is that right?
It is. We met Al Warden that day back at Kennedy at the book club, at the bookstore, I guess, or the souvenir store. They always have astronauts every day, I guess, drop in and just do signings and meet and greets and things for
as one does.
Be there, yeah. Very cool.
Well, that's really exciting. Well, it looks like we are like 20 minutes out from. I'm a little confused, Max, and maybe you can help me figure this out. Are we finding out that it has landed at 3:55, or will we find out 20 minutes later because of the delay? That's the part that I'm not 100% clear on. Do you know?
So I think at 3:55 is when we will find out. We'll get the confirmation back.
So in theory, she's already landed.
Potentially, I guess. Yeah, if it's 3:36. Yeah. Well, let's see. Is it 7 minutes? It's 7 minutes. I'm pretty sure the delay, right? So
7 minutes? Oh, I thought it was more than that. It's 7 minutes.
No, I think it's 7 there and 7 back. So, yeah.
So here's some live coverage that says that they are 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from a stage separation. I put on closed captioning here, so I figured we're not.
Oh, that's so much better.
We're not going to listen to what they're saying, but we can see what they're saying, and this is showing a 3D sort of representation of what looks like the vehicle.
Ryan, are you on the NASA TV? Because I'm looking at a different feed. If you go to the NASA TV, I'll put the link in the chat for this broadcast. Sure. This one has the feed of. No, it's got to be the same thing, but yours said PBS NewsHour. Anyway, Max, tell me a little bit about what you are excited for with this mission.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, I guess I won't bore you all with everything. One thing,
please, space knowledge.
Well, I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, this is just good. It's just like this is really a big deal. There hasn't been a new rover on Mars, at least from the United States. I don't think any other agency has launched a rover to Mars since Curiosity. I think it was 2012. So it's really exciting. It's new technology, updated technology and everything. The wheels are updated. But specifically about this mission, though, that's really exciting and interesting is that what it is going to do and then what it's going to do for the future. So it's, looking for signs of microbial life and ancient microbial life, but also the ability to, store canisters of soil or to, Martian soil, and the ability to then later another mission to later come and pick it up. I mean, that's so cool. Like, come
It's
on.
so cool.
That's so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I'm really excited about, and you and I were talking about this a little bit before we went in, is the microphones. There's a couple of things about that. First of all, I had misunderstood what was happening. I thought the microphones went active once she was on the surface or, roving around, whatever may happen. But I was wrong about that. It actually happens as she's coming in. So we're going to hear the things like the mortar of the parachutes fire, the jets firing, the landing, the cables being cut. We may even hear the lander crash nearby after it moves away from the rover. That's insane. So to me, and the fact, and you and I were also talking about this fact that it's like an off-the-shelf microphone is just crazy. It's just crazy. So really, really exciting stuff. I can't wait to hear the sounds of Mars.
Well, it makes me think back to the one of my favorite films that you can't hear, anyone scream in space, but we're going to hear something as we get into the atmosphere, right?
Right. And I heard that it's negative 64 on the surface, so it's like Texas there. Anyway, really exciting stuff. And Ryan, what are you excited about?
You know what? I'm just excited that I was looking at a photo, I think yesterday, that showed like the family of rovers. Like Perseverance is not the first; it's just the latest. It's the most advanced. It's also one of the biggest, right? When I looked at the comparison of the 4 rovers that are there now, and now Perseverance will be the 5th. It's sort of like a little family of droids that's getting bigger and bigger, and they're getting more capabilities. They have more gadgets. They have more instruments. The instruments on Perseverance are amazing. What they're going to do with, like you were saying, Max, about how they're going to look for not only just testing soil, but how they collect it, how they're going to analyze it through cameras and things there in the moment as it takes its path in the crater, but it's also preparing canisters that it's going to leave along the way that are going to serve as waypoints, is my understanding, so that the return missions can come and they know where to find, and bring these things back to Earth for deeper examination.
Well, plus they have such cool names like Moxie. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. That produces oxygen from Martian CO2. Rimfax, which is a subsurface radar. Who doesn't want that? Sherlock and Watson. Hello. Ultraviolet spectrometer. Pixel X-ray spectrometer. Now, MEDA, I'm assuming it's pronounced MEDA, which is a weather station. Supercam. Hello, Supercam. That's the laser micro imager. Again, I only have 3 of those on my car. I don't know about you guys. And then the Mastcam Z, the zoomable panoramic camera. We are going to see in the not too distant future, see, feel, and hear the most amazing stuff coming from the red planet. So I don't know if you guys could tell, but I'm incredibly excited about this. Truly. Ryan, yes. You and I were there, and was it July for the launch, man? I mean, we were on live here for that, and it was incredible.
Yeah. So last July was one of our shows we did here on Week's End to watch the rocket go up, and so it's amazing to me. It seems like that was just yesterday, but it's taken.
It's crazy.
It's quite a journey. When you look at the stats around the flight, let's talk about the flight for a minute. The flight is pretty incredible. When I was looking at the stats of it was still about 1 million miles out, but the journey itself is somewhere in the neighborhood of 293 million miles from start to finish. And when I looked at the stats, the rocket was traveling, the vehicle was traveling at somewhere between 47 and 48,000 miles per hour. So that's just, it's kind of crazy to think about, right?
I'll tell you that 293 million miles, that's what it feels like to drive into Boston some days. There's really no joke about that. Wow, 6 minutes to atmospheric entry. This is getting exciting.
So I'm going to put that up in a sec here. Another interesting stat that blew me away is that, they're attempting a landing in an area that, is sort of the most complicated. They haven't attempted a landing in an area like this before. Due to just, the safety or the risk of success. And one of the stats is that when you take in totality all of the missions that not just NASA but everybody in the world has sent to Mars, only 50% of them have had successful landings. So the quote was, "It's no easy feat to do this landing." But when you look at the animation of this vehicle, bringing the rover down, I mean, it looks just it's breathtaking to see what they're looking to accomplish today.
Most people look at these things and they think like, how many engineers, how many companies, how many contractors, how many scientists, how many incredible people did it take to build this? But I'm a marketer, so I look at it from a different angle and I wonder how many PowerPoints had to be created to support this program.
Well, judging just by the social media production, which has been amazing, all the channels, all the graphics, all the animations.
I know.
The department for the communications for this mission, I mean, my hat is off. It's been Definitely incredible.
Ooh, this is good. So, Max, let's deviate a little bit as we just try to delay our excitement during atmospheric entry. Movies about Mars. Do you have a favorite?
So, okay. Do I have a favorite? I think probably my favorite. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Martian-focused, sci-fi films or movies about Mars. I think, just in terms of quality, probably The Martian really is like.
There you go. That's number one.
Is like one of my favorites. That one was just. I mean, I read the book first, and it was like so. It was so good, and then the movie came out, and it was just, obviously, with everything, the book is, arguably better than the movie, but oh man, they both were just so good.
Yeah, I really loved that movie, and with my family, we've watched it many, many times over. Fun fact about that book, actually, did you know that he originally started that as a blog post that he was writing when he was bored at work? And somebody basically came up to him and said, "This is so good. Why aren't you charging for it? You're just putting this out there for free." I don't know if you can still find it, but apparently he stopped writing the blog and turned it into the book, which became the movie, which is outstanding. I love the movie. Ryan, what about you? What's a Mars movie you like?
You know what? I go the other direction. I like these fantastical ones like Red Planet, which is not a new film. It has Val Kilmer and Carrie, the actress, famous from the Matrix series, but
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss. It was realistic enough, but also absurd. I mean, they had this AI dog that goes crazy. They were trying to essentially. The funny thing to me is this was made in the late 90s. They were saying that Earth would not be habitable if we couldn't find another planet, and the whole thing was about terraforming Mars. And then things go wrong and hilarity ensues, and they have to go check it out. Of course.
Right? I think one of my favorites, which is really more of a documentary and less of a movie, is Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is just so scientifically accurate, so believable. Right. Really great movie.
The thing that I also wanted to say, though, is that this led me to appreciate the TV series The Expanse, because it takes place in a world where there's sort of Earth, the people left on Earth, and a lot of the governments on the moon. There's Mars has been there for several generations, and it's a military superpower, and then the belt. But the thing that is cool to me is that there's this organization called Explore Mars, or Human to Mars, and one of our pals, Rod Pyle, the space historian author, is part of their live stream landing party coverage today. And they are really looking at what is the research that's going to come out of this that's going to help us get people to the red planet.
We're getting real close here, folks. Hey, a book that I've mentioned on the show before that came in the mail this week, Ryan, from the UK, and I really loved it. Max, you should check it out too, is Weird Field World. And it's a really cool, interesting book about what if there were spaceships that didn't rely on on the kinds of propulsion and fuels or nuclear, the things that we all think of rockets and propulsion, and the ways in which we typically think of rockets. This is based on aliens that send signals to Earth and teach us how to use different universes to tap into to build these incredible vehicles. Anyway, it's a really cool book. I'll make sure, Max, I send you the link. It's a fascinating read, and he breaks it down into like different ships and all different types. So something to check out. But just that fanciful, crazy, fun science fiction stuff. So something to check out.
They say they're within 190 kilometers of the surface, and they are about to enter. They're about to enter. Go into.
I'm nervous drinking water.
The entry area of this. They're receiving data, receiving all the telemetry and all the data as per normal.
You know, it'd be awesome if there was like a VR experience where you could dive through the atmosphere, like Felix Baumgartner, the guy that did the dive from space, but you could like chase the orbiter all the way to the ground. That would be awesome.
I will take that a step further.
The rover.
There was a VR experience that they had at South by Southwest a few years ago where you actually got into this device, your whole body, like you were flying, and then it was like a tilt-a-whirl. You know, it was like you were actually in free fall, but you had the VR goggles on. That would be the ultimate.
Or Star Trek Bridge Crew, that was done by that was at an IBM show.
Sure.
Boy, this is so exciting.
This is.
So,
Max, can you tell us any more about what's happening here?
So I'm trying to find the I want to take a look at the timeline. So what's the next event? Let's see. So atmospheric entry, and then it's like, okay. So once it hits atmospheric entry, then things start to heat up on the red planet. That's when.
That's hot.
Yeah, that's when the friction of the atmosphere, the little.
You know what I didn't look into is it an ablative heat shield or just a regular? Like I didn't know if this heat shield burns away as it goes or does it just heat up? I don't know if they still use that because I think of Apollo capsules and sort of the older spaceships having the ablative heat shields. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but the ones that kind of burn off as they go. And I couldn't find out if this one has that or not. And I was watching a mission briefing earlier, and they talked about reentry, but they didn't say if it's ablative or not.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know for sure. It would make. I mean, I feel like the technology has advanced today that they probably wouldn't need to have it burn off like that, just because it's not. The atmosphere isn't as thick as Earth's atmosphere. You know.
That's right.
It's a little thinner. But it's the atmosphere it's different composition than Earth. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
The vehicle is entering 10 Gs of during this, and they're in blackout time. It looks like they're executing a 5. I'm trying to follow this along, but it said
this is so exciting.
They were entering a banking maneuver during entry here. Not re-entry, but
it's incredible how all these nerds stay so calm. I'd be losing my mind if I was in that room.
Well, I'm assuming
they're also smart and with it.
I think not just smart, but I think they've practiced this a few times.
Well, I think they probably have practiced there. Maybe they're just winging it. We don't really know.
I mean, speaking of practicing, I'm constantly trying to learn from some of our colleagues that we work with because the verification systems, have been, a lot of that program is using some IBM tech. So it'll be good to see.
Very cool.
Heating alignment track. Ooh, this is great.
It's getting close.
The other thing I like about Mars is I would only weigh about 100 pounds there. That's the other thing I really like about Mars.
I know, right? I was looking at that equation, and I really, really like that a lot. And if you
like that.
If you do it in kilograms,
Yeah, dude. I mean, I could be like Jabba the Hutt. It wouldn't matter. Diet, forget it. Exercise, forget it. Eating, absolutely. Drinking, anything I want, all the time on Mars, 100 pounds. I'm good. The really bad thing would be if I got back to my Earth weight on Mars. So if I had the same, then it'd be really bad. Then my heart would be like.
Your bones would be a little upset too. I think their density would decrease.
I'd have to find Quaid and start the reactor, just like in Total Recall, which, as we all know, is a documentary. It's fine.
Of course.
Ooh. Parachute is deployed.
Ooh, here we go.
Significant deceleration. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna do a dramatic reenacting of the parachute opening. You ready? I'm going down. Parachute opens.
It's amazing.
Thank you. This dramatic reenactment has been brought to you today by yours truly.
It's very amazing to me, though. This is the first mission I've seen like this, where it's essentially like watching a video game, where we're getting it's a real time representation, as if you're watching this from a different camera, and they're basing that off of all the telemetry, all the information that they're getting off of the mission.
You know, we get to see what they see, pretty much.
Yeah.
This is not very different from like the Viking lander missions.
Yeah.
Clapping again.
Yeah, very different from the Viking stuff. It's
radar lock on the ground.
It's slowed to 100 meters per second now.
Ooh.
So that is very fast deceleration.
Oh, it's good. It's happening. It's happening.
So what's the moment? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I can't wait till when we go from 3D model to actual camera.
So Max, Viking, we didn't hear for, what was it, hours, days, weeks? Like we didn't, how did they must have known when it landed, but.
Yeah, they knew. I mean, it's the same, it's the same distance. It's the same radio frequency, same technology with that. So it's still 7 minutes delay and everything. It's just, the Viking missions aren't, they didn't happen at a time when the internet was like this, where when the internet was anything, where we could see any of this stuff. And now we're able to see it all happen in real time, which is just fantastic. But
now it looks like the rockets have fired.
Back shell has separated and rockets are firing. This is, wow. This is happening. Ooh. Wow. I can't imagine. What is it like to be in that room? I know they're all focused and they're not getting all emotional, but the feeling has to be extraordinary. Oh my God, this is wild. Oh my God, there she goes. Oh my God. Oh,
wait. Touchdown confirmed.
There we have it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Safe landing on the surface of Mars.
Wow. Yes.
Ready to begin seeking the sands of the past. The descent stage has flown away to a safe distance.
Oh man, that is exciting.
All right.
Wow.
That was like right on time too. I mean, that was
that was right on time.
How did they do that?
I think it's magic, essentially.
Magic, yeah.
Luck is not a factor. Oh, look at this guy. He's like, oh, we got it. Thank God. I love it when they get, they get a little fired up like that. It's great.
This is something.
Oh, they said they might get pictures right away.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Wow.
I really am hoping so. I just want, it's almost like, I mean, this is just incredible, but
I know.
I don't even know what to say, but I relate everything back. You have to relate everything back to these sci-fi movies when you land somewhere, it's unknown. They flick on the camera, and all of a sudden you're transported somewhere else, and that's what we're about to do in real life.
What happens if the plot of 2007 Michael Bay's Transformers comes true and it turns its camera on and then just gets stomped on by Megatron? Then what do we do?
Well, look, if there's like
tentacles, that wasn't Megatron. That was Starscream.
Yeah, come on, Graeme. Get your.
So sorry. Megatron was frozen in the ice. That's what Captain Witwicky found him. Like, this is all common knowledge here.
If this happens, it's going to dramatically change the dinner table conversation this evening for sure. All right.
Did she say the first image?
We have just heard the news. Okay. Perseverance is.
She said it's alive on the surface. Oh, yep. There's an image coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. I was going to cut away, but I'm going back. We're getting the first image. Here we go.
It's a tiny little thing, but there it is. I don't quite know why it's...
It must not be the super cam.
I really hope that's not the super cam. Maybe that's the pixel cam.
Oh.
I think they're all just still, in euphoria here.
So I don't know about you, Max, because you actually studied space history, but Ryan, do you ever look at these things and you suddenly start second guessing your life and you're like, I really, really wish I worked at NASA?
Completely 100%. And this is what I'll tell you. I've been trying to live vicariously through my son, who made like over 200 points better on the SAT than me. And I was like, dude, you need to go to Mars. Like that was literally what came out of my mouth, was like, you need to go to NASA. You need to be a scientist or an astronaut or something that gets you off of the blue marble. Because
Uncle Graeme supports this plan.
You're a smart dude and you can do it. And now it's within reach. Like our chance to do this is over. Like the most we can do is like hitch a really expensive trip to the moon and like, on a, joyride. But something like this, for the next generation of engineers, the next generation of astronauts, like this is like opening a whole nother door for them.
Max, what do you think we should explore next? If we ignore Mars, where do you think we should go next?
Well,
with landers and cameras and mics and lions and tigers and bears.
I would love to see more exploration of Venus, honestly, just because I think the Soviet Union is the only country that successfully sent a lander to Venus.
Those are some great images.
I would also love to see. Let's see, Io. I think I'd love to see some sort of orbiter around Io, or some of those other large moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
Look at that. Wow. Oh, there's the Lucky Peanuts.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was a way of, if I remember correctly what they said, for COVID, a lot of people couldn't be in the same place, so they sent everybody Lucky Peanuts. Mm. And there's like a Lucky Peanuts station in Mission Control, which I thought was really cute.
So You're reminding me, when you bring up Venus, Max, you're reminding me, I was racking my brain. There was a film, when we were talking about like featuring our favorite sci-fi films, I was actually trying to come up with a new answer, because I think I've talked about Red Planet before, but there was a film that was black and white that I saw when I was younger that was about these guys, 3 astronauts, and I think they go to Venus, and when they get there, they're sort of transported into a world where they're like in a utopia of like a, house and a picket fence and a like some kind of weird, like their minds get taken over. And I have not been able to find this film, but it was like, it haunted me when I was a kid, because it was like, what are we going to find when we go to another planet? Or, our mind's going to be taken over by Martians, or what do you call an alien on Venus?
Venetian.
Venetian. There we go.
Maybe. I mean, what do you call an alien on Europa? A European?
There we go.
A European.
European.
A European.
No,
A European?
that movie sounds familiar, though. I think there's like a kind of one of those old science fiction films. It's like Voyage to Venus, something like that.
Yeah.
And
it was haunting, and then when they returned, they were like, it was not like your typical cheesy like let's go shoot some aliens thing.
Yeah, but they go to Venus though, and it turns out it's like a jungle, and it's like there's like dinosaurs, and it's like a tropical rainforest type thing. I mean,
right.
that was the idea, or that was the thought, pre telescope, or maybe around that when the telescope came into more use. It was Venus was this jungle planet, and Mars was a planet that had canals and advanced civilization on it, making large earthworks and stuff. So it's interesting to think about those themes, where they originated from, and then how they end up in films, and how they're portrayed and that sort of thing. But
well, that's exactly what this mission is. It's amazing to think about how they really are searching for signs of previous life on the planet. And I don't know. I've always assumed we were going to reach that point. I'm a believer that we can't be the only life in the universe. And so when you ponder those really big questions, those deep questions, and you think about like Mars is not that far away. So if it's possible there, I think it opens up, all kinds of science and possibility for all kinds of different life forms that are out there. But there's been debate back and forth. Like I just read something recently that said that they thought that the universe was actually a lot smaller and not expanding as fast, or there's been all these scientific debates recently about, what is the possibility of finding habitable worlds, or worlds that can support life, or what have you. And I think they said the number, the assumption was the number had shrunk from billions to millions, or something of that magnitude.
Yeah. You don't even have to look very far to see evidence of potential life, on other planets. I mean, if you just look at Earth, there are creatures that live on the sides of underwater, volcanoes, and creatures that live in, frozen tundras of, Antarctica, like microbial life. I mean, these extremophiles, they exist on this planet, and assuming the conditions are similar, and assuming the elements that comprise the Earth and us and stars and everything is the same everywhere, then one could assume that another planet, say that's tidally locked with Jupiter, or another planet, or another planet body that's tidally locked with Jupiter, could in fact have microbial life that was formed.
Well, think about it. I mean, they found like worms at geothermic vents in the bottom of the ocean, and wasn't there? Didn't they brought back a piece of Surveyor, and it had bacteria that had survived or something, right?
Yeah, they. I can't remember the story on that, but yeah, it was Surveyor. So that was I think that was Apollo 12. I think they went and they visited the Surveyor probe on the moon, and when they brought it back to, they brought back, I think, the camera that was on the exterior.
The camera. Now, it was bacteria that had gotten in there from Earth, but it had survived, and they brought it back.
It had survived, yeah.
I mean, think about that.
The moon has no atmosphere at all, and it's got nothing, nothing to protect it from cosmic radiation or the vacuum of space. And look, and life finds a way. So,
well, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
It's really interesting. I could recommend some books about this that I've read, but I don't know. I'd have to find. I can't remember the titles. But what is the? Have you guys read the Michael Crichton book? I think it's Andromeda Strain. I think that's what it's called.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, a long time ago.
I think that the premise of that book is there's like a microbial creature or life that comes to Earth, and they are silica based life forms, not carbon based life forms. So that's kind of a theory that like there could be other life forms that exist that are non-carbon based. Humans and everything on Earth is carbon based, but silica I think is one isotope away from carbon. So in theory, it could support life. So I just
see that's interesting that life here is carbon based, because I consider myself to be butter based, but I don't know, Ryan, are you more margarine, I guess?
I'm just cringing over here.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's high cholesterol, high carbon base. You're high.
Yeah, I run on. I don't know. I run on snacks and beer.
Well, the other thing. I mean, you talk about Michael Crichton. I read 2 of the Jurassic Park books, and the movies are known for Spielberg doing really good CGI, but and velociraptors being scary. But the books are really about the science of life and how could this really happen. And they're really, whether it's Andromeda Strain or Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton really delved, as deep as he could into science and talk about the theory behind how these things are going to happen or how things could evolve. So I don't see there's no more, they don't seem to be they seem to be doing the commentary now, right? So and
that's cool. And that'll go on for a while, but we look forward to seeing the really high resolution, clear color photos, hearing Mars. I really hope they were able to capture the sounds of that landing. That will be absolutely wild. My guess is it won't be too long till we hear that. And just the discoveries. I look forward to it. It would be great. Obviously, it's funny. I wonder sometimes, let's just say they were able to, let's just say they made some discovery of past or present life on Mars. Let's just say that, right? I like to think that it would be some sort of globally unifying moment of oh my God, this is the greatest thing. But what would happen is they would announce it, and then just Ted Cruz would go to Cancun and we'd just be on to the next thing. And it's funny. I've actually talked to people before who were like, what are you talking about? I thought we already found life on Mars. And it's like, what? Huh? And it's because if you remember, they get confused when Bill Clinton, I think it was Clinton, made that announcement that they had found a microbe from an asteroid or something, or a meteor. And it wasn't, well, I don't know if it wasn't true, but it was definitely inconclusive, and they have since said they don't think it was. But people look back and really believe that was the first time we discovered life off this planet. Life has not been discovered off this planet.
Right. Yeah, that was the...
That's my rant of the week, Ryan.
Okay, hang on. I wasn't ready. Can I get you to?
Okay, hold on. I'll do it again.
Can you do let's do like a 20-second version. Go.
So, I get really frustrated when people think that life has been discovered off this planet. Life has not been discovered. Look, I don't know what Bill Clinton told you people, but he was wrong. It was not true. Life has not been discovered, so we're kind of hoping Perseverance finds something, but it really frustrates me when people don't know their space and solar system history. There is no life off Earth, as far as we know, except for any life that we've sent into orbit or to the moon. That's it. There's nothing, folks. And there you go. That's my 20-second rant of the week. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you for that. As always, you can find the rant of the week weekly on #WeeksIn.
You certainly can.
So
they're usually
do you guys want to chat a few more minutes? We're right at the 38-minute mark. I'm kind of just blown away that it seemed so effortless. I know it's totally not.
I know
that it's
it did seem that way.
When you that's what I would like to hear. I don't know if you have a perspective on this, Max, with your background, your studies, what you nerd out about right now, but just thinking about the super systems that Graeme and I spoke to one of the data analysts that was a part of the Apollo program a couple of years ago. And then, to think about the feat of just going up there and coming back, just figuring that out. And now we're at the point where we're going to go by an order of magnitude further and then try to come back. It boggles the mind that this is a human achievement, right?
Yeah, it's the more I learn about the history of the space program, the more I find out things that's like, okay, you have all these different systems in play: mechanical, technical, electronical systems. You have a whole entire contracting agencies, and and you have subcontractors, and you have their employees, and you have HR departments that have to schedule those employees, and you have you have administrative assistants, you have people who work cleanup crews at these factories and laboratories and everything. I mean, it's just there's so many amount of people involved with something like this. And here we are in terms of the Apollo program, and here we are watching a similar thing, and we're seeing the very end result of all of those people, all of those systems, and just everything coming together. And we're seeing that here now, and it's so polished, and it goes off without a hitch. And and some people might argue that that is, I mean, obviously it's a good thing, but it kind of takes the risk and the for us, at least for the viewer, it takes the kind of the excitement out of it, because it's not like the problem with the space program, or the space shuttle, or not the problem with it, but some people criticized it because it was so so successful. It was a victim of its own success because it became so routine, and NASA and everybody got so good at it that it was no longer a front page news story. Oh, they put another thing in space. What's next? So that's kind of a pessimistic way to look at things, and I certainly don't agree that is true. I think these are all exciting. I think it's just amazing and technologically advanced events, and we learn so much from them. But I don't know. I just think that's just something I'm thinking about off my head about.
Max, I totally agree. And we pay attention to these last 20 minutes, right? But we're not realizing that this was 10 years, maybe more, in the making. But I mean, I heard at least one person say she's been working on this for 8 or 9 years. So it's great that we pay attention to these last minutes, but we've got to think of all of the students, all of the work experience, all of the sleepless nights, all of the failures they went through, and the close calls, and then the actual construction and assembly and loading and stacking and blah, blah, blah. And then the launch, Ryan. I mean, how harrowing was that? Just getting the sucker off the ground, right? I mean,
every step of the way,
it's remarkable.
Every step of the way is a feat by some smart person, some team of people who are making that part of the mission work well and work with every other step of the mission. I remember back during the Apollo 50th anniversary, a couple of, summer of 2019, where one of the IBMers that was interviewed from the Apollo era, a woman who was in the control room when they sent the rocket up for Apollo 13, her comment was, well, this was just a stepping stone. If this is successful, her wish was to see how are we going to stay on the moon, or how are we going to go to, she this is just a stepping stone for something bigger. And it's an amazing accomplishment, but it's just adding another layer to where we can get to achieve something bigger or discover something new.
Very exciting. And one of the last things I'll say is that in that Weird Field World book that I was reading, it's interesting because they talk about what the solar system would be like if there were millions. I think it's actually 1.6 or something billion people living off Earth around the solar system, in different places, in different orbits, on different planets, in different ways. But I mean, all the way out to Pluto. I mean, it's really, really cool. This sort of different concept of like, what if our solar system suddenly became a neighborhood? What would that be like for us? If we could suddenly move at millions and millions and millions of kilometers per hour, what would that be like? And it's funny to see these little steps we take. But honestly, man, I'd like to see us take bigger steps, bolder steps. I mean, personally, I hope that I get to see humans land on Mars. That's what I'm talking about right there.
I'm going to say it right now. We need to go to this. They had it virtual this past year, but there's this whole conference and group of people that are looking at what are those steps and what are those steps 10 years down the line. And just like, as silly as the Red Planet movie is, they said there was a timeline of like, it took them 5 years to, get there. And it took them 10 more years to decide how they were going to make it successful. And so these are all stepping stones, but they are, we're well on our way, I think. There's been a lot of talk about like how, things are accelerating now. And it's not just that there's renewed interest or renewed fascination, but there seems to be like I think of it as like a technology kind of, I don't want to call it a renaissance, but it's kind of like, it feels like we're entering another phase of things, and it's unlocking new doors.
I agree.
Definitely.
And I'm pumped to see. So do we know, like, what is now? All right. So I guess Perseverance is over. Pfft, that was boring. What's next?
Well, here you go. Here's the video on the Explore Mars site, and they've got here's a replica of a ship.
See, we could build that. We could do that.
You think?
I don't know. In orbit? Sure, maybe. I don't know.
In orbit, right.
Anyway, guys, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining this special edition of Week's End. Max, it's always a pleasure to have you on to get nerdy about space and share the excitement of all these things. Ryan, you're looking good in that jacket, brother. I got to tell you.
Oh yeah, we got to get we got to do like a mixtape or something and get our. I forgot my gold chain.
Personally, I think what we need are Week's End track jackets.
There we go.
I'm just putting it out there.
And
I'm sure if we're going to start giving out the swag bags to our guests, like Max, who's a repeat,
I'm just saying, maybe it's like the 5-Timers Club. You get the jacket.
The 5-Timers Club, you get the jacket. Yeah,
I would love that. Let's get some merch.
Let's do it. All right.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
Thank you everybody for watching. We're really excited.
Red Planet.
Let's do it.
Amazon, you can deliver to Mars now. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody.
Fridays, watch #Weeks End. Let us know what you want to hear about and what you're nerding out about.
Yeah.
Peace out, folks.